Well, I hope you think you're beginning the day with a friendly voice here with Office Hours and DJ Doc V. There's Spirit of Radio by Rush. Good morning, Vaqueros. DJ Doc V with you here for Office Hours for the next hour. Thanks for tuning in. It is Friday, December 5th, 5 minutes after the hour. 55 degrees here in the beautiful Upper Rio Grande Valley. Boy, we got a bit of a cold snap, although I'm pretty psyched about it, to be honest with you. I do enjoy the cold way much more than I enjoy the heat down here. So 55 degrees and cloudy skies. Looks like we're expecting a high today of about 64. Not very much wind, but 7 miles an hour or so. Humidity, tolerable, 66%. But, cloudy day and expect clouds throughout the day. Looks like potential rain this afternoon. By the time we get to the evening, we're looking at 57 for an overnight low. For your weekend, 74 degrees tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Sunday, 85 degrees, and then Monday back down to 70. I tell you, these weather's a funky thing, isn't it? Well, cats and kittens, grab your mittens. It is Office Hours, and as we always do on Fridays, we've got This Day in History at the bottom of the hour. And I got a poem essentially commemorating the end of the fall semester. This is the last Office Hours program for fall 2025. We'll be back in January 2026 for the spring semester with Office Hours and all the other great programming on Vaquero Radio. Hopefully you're listening to us on the Radio Garden app. You could take us wherever you go. You can link up your Radio Garden app with your Bluetooth in your car. You can listen to us wherever you are. And that app, I mean, we don't have any partnership with them. They just put us on there. It's a great, if you like radio, then definitely download that app because you can listen to radio stations all over the globe. It's really great app. So make sure you download Radio app or Radio Garden from your app store, wherever it is. Got some great music picked out for you today, including a little bit of The Police. We've got Journey coming up a little bit later. But right now, let's get back to the music. This is the Smiths with a song called What Difference Does It Make? Only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's studio. From Under a Blood Red Sky, that's Electric Co. That was a double shot of U2 here on Office Hours. We started off with New Year's Day. Actually started off that whole set with the Smiths and What Difference Does It Make? And that was a double shot of U2, New Year's Day, and the Electric Co. from their live Under a Blood Red Sky album. Good morning, Vaqueros. DJ Doc V with you here until 11 a.m. local time. It is 10:22 and 55 degrees here in the beautiful Upper Rio Grande Valley. Thanks for tuning in. Got some great music picked out for you still. And coming up at the bottom of the hour, This Day in History. And it's a bit of a mystery that we're going to talk about today, so that'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. Let's give a shout out to our basketball team. They're going to be playing at home this weekend on the 7th, which is Sunday. And they'll be taking on, let's see who they're taking on, Austin P from Tennessee. So that's Sunday at 1 p.m. Remember, with your student ID, you can get in free. And the new field house is a great, the updated field house with the new concessions and softer seats and, a little bit more comfortable. Updated, definitely. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you get out there. Your student ID will get you in for free. Faculty and staff get discounted tickets. So head out there and support our Vaqueros as they take on Austin P in the field house on Sunday at 1 p.m. Let's get back to the music. How about a little New Order here on Vaquero Radio? This is a song called Ceremony on the Police from Zenyatta Mundata. Their LP came out in the 80s. Also includes Don't Stand So Close to Me. That's on that record as well. Good morning, Vaqueros. DJ Doc V with you here until 11 o'clock. We got about 30 minutes left. You heard The Police. That was Man in a Suitcase. Before that, New Order from the singles compilation disc, or LP, we should say. That was Ceremony by New Order. As we do every week on Office Hours, except when Office Hours doesn't happen. That happens every once in a while. But as we do every week, let's talk about this day in history, and I got a doozy for you today. And on this day, December 5th in 1945, an aircraft squadron disappears in the Bermuda Triangle. At 2:10 p.m. on December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers comprising Flight 19 take off from the Fort Lauderdale Naval Air Station in Florida on a routine 3-hour training mission. After having completed their objective, Flight 19 was scheduled to take them due east for an additional 67 miles, then north for 73 miles, and then back to the air station after that, totaling a distance of 120 miles. They never returned. To this day, by the way, they still haven't found a remains. 2 hours after the flight began, the leader of the squadron, who had been flying in the area for more than 6 months, reported that his compass and backup compass had failed and that his position was unknown. The other planes experienced similar instrument malfunctions. Radio facilities on land were contacted to find the location of the lost squadron, but none were successful. After 2 more hours of confused messages from the flyers, a distorted radio transmission from the squadron leader was heard at 6:20 p.m., apparently calling for his men to prepare to ditch their aircraft simultaneously because of a lack of fuel. By this time, several land radar stations had finally determined that Flight 19 was somewhere north of the Bahamas and east of the Florida coast. And at 7:27 p.m., a search and rescue Mariner aircraft took off with a 13-man crew. 3 minutes later, the Mariner aircraft radioed to its home base that its mission was underway. The Mariner was never heard from again. Later, there was a report from a tanker cruising off the coast of Florida of a visible explosion seen at 7:50 p.m. The disappearance of the 14 men of Flight 19 and the 13 men of the Mariner led to one of the largest air and sea searches to that date, and hundreds of ships and aircraft combed thousands of square miles of the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, and remote locations within the interior of Florida. No trace of the bodies or aircraft was ever found. Although naval officials maintained that the remains of the 6 aircraft and 27 men were not found because of stormy weather that probably destroyed the evidence, the story of the lost squadron helped cement the legend of the Bermuda Triangle, an area of the Atlantic Ocean where ships and aircraft are said to disappear without a trace. The Bermuda Triangle is said to stretch from the southern U.S. coast across to Bermuda and down to the Atlantic coast of Cuba and Santo Domingo. That was on this day in 1945. Who knows? What could happen? I think there have been a bunch of movies made about what could have happened on the Bermuda Triangle. Also on this day, in 1776, on December 5th, the Phi Beta Kappa fraternity is founded in Williamsburg, Virginia. A group of 5 students at the College of William and Mary gather at Raleigh's Tavern to found that new fraternity. In 1873, the Boston Belfry murderer kills his first victim. Bridget Landrigan is found beaten and strangled to death in the Boston suburb of Dorchester. In 1933, the 21st Amendment is ratified and Prohibition ends. The 21st Amendment to the U.S. Constitution is ratified, repealing the 18th Amendment and bringing an end to the era of national prohibition of alcohol in America. Also on this day, in 1978, the USSR and Afghanistan sign a friendship treaty in an effort to prop up an unpopular pro-Soviet regime in Afghanistan. Finally, on this day in 1984, Eddie Murphy stars in the movie Beverly Hills Cop. He was a wisecracking detective named Axel Foley, living in Detroit, in the action comedy released in theaters on December 5th, 1984. That's this day in history, as we do every week on office hours. Thanks for tuning in. We've got about another 20 minutes or so to go. Got some music for you still. Currently 56 degrees. Feels like 54. We're looking at a high of 64 degrees today, so make sure you wear your jacket and be prepared for chilly weather. That's chilly for the valley anyway. I did get a report that Minneapolis is in the 20s, and that's a heat wave. We love it. We love it. Boy, let's get back to the music. How about a little Ramones? Let's get our head bopping here for Friday morning. This is a song called Blitzkrieg Bop Only. That's Journey with Wheel in the Sky. Only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Good morning, Vaqueros. DJ Doc V with you here just for another few minutes as we come upon 11 a.m. here in the beautiful Rio Grande Valley. 57 degrees, cloudy skies. We're expecting a high of 64 today, so make sure you bring along your jacket. Light jacket. I miss the winter. Forgive me, but I miss the winter. As we do every week on office hours, I've got a poem picked out for you. This one is not from UTRGV Student Media, though. What I searched for today, considering it's the end of the semester, I went into Google. I said, give me a poem that talks about the end of things, right? We're coming up upon the end of a semester, end of a year. And as we get ready to get into 2026, the second, what would it be? 26? Boy, that's the 250th anniversary of the United States next year. Our sesquicentennial. Don't worry, I had to look that up too. So that's what it's called, 250 years, sesquicentennial. So that'll be next year. But it's still this year. So let's do a poem like we do. This is a poem that I think I might have first heard about it on in that Rodney Dangerfield movie, Back to School. He talks about it. He recites it in his final oral examination. He's got to recite it and then talk about what it means to him. This is a poem by Dylan Thomas, and it's titled, "Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night." Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men, who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned, too late, they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men, near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. That's a poem titled Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night by Dylan Thomas, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. I am DJ Doc V. Thanks for tuning in this semester. We'll be back in January, the third week of January, which will be, that's when our semester starts. So make sure you download the Radio Garden app, listen to us wherever you are, and let's end up with a little bit of Styx. How about that? This one's called Come Sail Away, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's